Okay, what was your favorite part about this?
I just like putting the thing with the motors. Yeah, with the motors and putting the motors together.
Those things, okay, well, and I know those parts right now, you know, again, those parts do have names, and you know, we will learn those over time. It's not something that you have to know working with Ecobot. You don't have to know the names of all these things. And Clayton, a little while ago, he asked me the question, he said, Mr. Penites, Robo Joe, what is this for? And really what it comes down to, you know, students, this is directly towards you. The parts that you have here inside this kit, they can be used for anything. It's just like a pencil. You say, what can you write with a pencil? You can write unlimited amounts of things, right? Well, the same thing with all these pieces right here. These pieces don't have one specific purpose. Right here, this robot was built, and that's a base model. But after that, you can take these parts and you can create whatever you want. You can get creative and artistic with all these different parts, okay? And here we're about to jump into the programming guide and show you what it's like to program a robot, download the program, and watch it actually move. All right, guys, so now you have created your robot. Now it is time to program the robot. So we go from step 2 to step 3, which is the interactive animation of making your robot move. Let's take a look at what the program looks like as it's going through step by step. So I click play, and it says, right, boom, starts right here. That's next thing, it's gonna wait for 1 second. I'm gonna drive in reverse, wait for 1 more second, then drive forward again. So everything happens from left to right, just like whenever you're writing a sentence. Okay, this happens first, that happens next, 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 next. Okay, so now you've seen the interactive animation of what it looks like to program. Now let's actually start to jump in a little bit ourselves and actually do it, okay? The challenge that we're going to do here is making the robot drive forward and reverse. I went ahead and closed the content editor so that we have a little bit more room to work. Everything starts here, and my suggestion is always move steering. Okay, so this is going to make our robot move forward. Okay, and here's my settings. I can tell the robot to move for rotations. That means a rotation means how many times does the wheel spin. If the wheel spins 1 time, that's 1 rotation. You can actually tell it to do a half a rotation or 0.3 rotations, depending on how far you need to move. Okay, so right here on the settings, this is how we steer the robot. And here, this is forward, 100% power, and now we're getting into reverse, 100% power, and everything in between. Okay, and this is how many rotations. So right here, I'm going to tell the robot to go forward 3 rotations, 3 tire spins. Okay? All right, now that's a simple program that's already been written. We're going to go ahead and download this program into the robot. And let's go ahead and, all right, go ahead and take this download cable. Now here's how this works, guys. Okay, first things first, we got to turn the robot on. Okay, so we push this little middle button right here. Turns red for a second, and it takes a little while for it to boot up. So let's wait for this thing to boot up. Right now it says Mindstorm starting, okay? Whenever this changes colors and it's green, you know that your robot is on and ready to go and ready to download programs from the computer into the robot, okay? So it just takes a little bit. If it does not turn on, then you gotta check and see if your battery has been charged up completely. And sometimes you may have put the battery in the wrong way. If you put the battery in the wrong way, sometimes it bends the little springs in there, and you have to go back and bend the little spring back in place so that the battery's metal parts are touching the robot's metal parts. So sometimes you have to look out for those things as well. But if there's ever an issue where you just can't figure it out, you can call legoeducation.us, their technical support line. So visit that website, and those people are very good out there to help you with that. Okay, all right, so guys, on the robot screen right here, we really don't have any programs downloaded into this robot yet. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this USB cable, we're going to put it into the robot right here at the front where it says PC. Okay, now we're going to take the other end of the USB cable and put it into a port inside the computer. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and take this end of the USB port and put it into a port in the computer. Now, there is a connection between the computer and the robot. Now it is time to download the program into the robot. Okay, back up here to the screen. I want to go ahead and name my program. Whenever I download it into the robot, there is a way for me to recognize the program a little bit better. So I'm going to click right here where it says program, double click. I'm going to call this drive forward. All right, drive forward. All right, that's the name of the program. And I'm going to go ahead and, why is there not a connection? All right, so what I'm seeing right now is that there was not a connection between the robot and the computer. And we can tell that because there's an X right here. Okay, so I'm going to re-plug this cable into another port on the computer, and that may solve that problem. Let's check and see. Okay, and then the robot is on, correct? Yes, the robot is on. Okay, now, that actually worked. So you actually saw a problem-solving strategy right there. One of the ports on the computer did not work, so I went to another port and it did work. And we know this because it says right here, connection type USB, EV3 is connected. All right, so now I'm gonna go ahead and download the program. I'm gonna click this button right here, download. And you hear that noise. It tells you that the program has now been downloaded. So as we look really close on this screen right here, we're going to now find the file that we just downloaded. And the way that I do this, there's 4 tabs at the top of this screen right here. I want to go to the second tab over, so I hit this little button, and now I see straight move at the very top. I see straight move up here, and so I'm going to go into straight move. And the next thing I see is drive forward. And I'm going to go down to drive forward. And now I'm going to unplug my robot. I'm going to set it down. I'm going to hit this middle button right here, and drive forward should make the robot drive forward. All right, so now we've just made the robot move. All right, so we have the robot that has just moved forward. We've accomplished our challenge, which is just simply making the robot move forward. Now, we could go in much more depth of showing you. Yes, sir?
Robot, is there any way that you could rename the robot?
Rename the robot?
Yes, sir.
Oh, on the screen up here at the top? Actually, there is. I'll go ahead and, that's a great question. Let me go ahead and show you how to do that. I need to plug my cable back in here, okay? And if I want to rename it, oh, you know what? Before we rename this, I need to address this right here, okay? It says, please update the programmable bricks firmware version. Go to Tools, Firmware Update. I click OK. This makes your robot operate a whole bunch better if you update the firmware whenever it tells you to. So to do that, you go to Tools, Update, Firmware Update, and you click on Firmware V103, download, and it just takes a little bit of time in order to do that. And I would like you guys to notice that while you're downloading the firmware, the robot is, right now it says upgrading, okay, or, I'm sorry, updating. And as this is happening, really there shouldn't be anything going on with your robot. Don't unplug your robot, don't hit any buttons, just leave the robot alone and make sure that the download actually finishes before you do anything to your robot. So just kind of let the robot be while it's in the firmware update. What is firmware? Firmware makes the ability between the robot and the computer to communicate effectively. So firmware is just like giving the robot and the computer the ability to speak the same language. And so right now that's kind of updating here between the computer and the robot. They're creating kind of a relationship through firmware update. All right, guys. It says right here that the firmware update is successful. Now we can move on, and the robot is now going to communicate with the computer more effectively, less errors, less time for downloading, etc. Okay, and right now on the robot it says that it's starting up, so after the firmware update you have to wait for the robot to kind of reboot, and we should see a connection right over here pretty quickly. Boom, there we go. We have a connection between the robot and the computer, And if we want to change the name, we take a look over here at this little box that says EV3. And we are going to backspace on that. And we can call it Bob. You have Bob, let's call it Bob. Bob it is. So I'm gonna hit enter. Actually download that. I'm gonna go ahead and download Bob. Bob now shows up at the top of your robot, and you have renamed your robot Bob, okay? Now, let's talk about these little buttons over here. Download means that you download the program to the robot, and then you can unplug the robot and run the program at another location. This button right here, be careful, because that means if you hit that button, the robot is going to download and it's going to run, probably run right off the table if you're not paying attention. So let's watch that. All right, see how that works? So you got to be careful for that little button. And this one right here, this little button, run selected, means that if I have a bunch of different blocks up there, got a whole bunch of different movements, and I just want to test one of these blocks, then I can hit this, I can highlight the block that I want to test and run that one only. So here we go, that should run one rotation. That's what that one was programmed for, okay? So let's say I want the robot to go forward, reverse, forward. I got this one on for rotations going forward. This one is now going into reverse for 2.3 rotations. All right. And then this one's going to go forward at 100% power at 5 rotations. All right. Now we got the robot going forward, backwards, forward. Probably ought to, y'all better watch out and make sure it doesn't go off the table. Here we go. Ready? I'm going to go ahead and download and run this. Okay, got it. Download and run. Ah! And that's one of the great things about Lego EV3 is that these robots are indestructible for the most part. And it happens. So don't, if your robot runs off the table, I wouldn't get too upset about it because these robots are relatively indestructible. We have that happen a lot.
Even the biggest genius.
So, all right, guys, congratulations. I would like for one of you to program your robot to drive forward for 3 rotations, reverse for 4, forward for 5. Okay? Go ahead and give it a try, Clayton. See what you got, man. Help him out. Actually, you know what, guys? Just do something interesting with your robot. Make it do some different crazy little things. Before you run that program, what is it going to do?
It's gonna go forward for 3 rotations, and then it's gonna do a 360 turn for 4 rotations, and then it's gonna turn right for 1 rotation, and then go forward again for 4 rotations.
Okay. All right, let's take a look and see what you guys got. Cool. Oh, all right, good job, guys. Knuckles to all of you. Good job, good job. All right, so there you are. We have successfully made a robot. We have programmed it to move, and that was our objective today, is to show you how to get the robot out of the box, how to build it, how to program it, and successfully call yourself a robotic engineer, okay? Congratulations, guys. You all have beginner level robotic engineering. Woo! Good job. What? Okay, so I would like to add a few things before this video segment is over with. If you would like to learn more about how to make your robot do much more, turning left, right, using all the sensors, What you need to do is just simply use the robot educator. Go step by step through the robot educator. It shows you how to move forwards, backwards, left, right. Shows you how to add a third motor so that you can make the arms go up and down and add an attachment. There's quite a bit that these robots can do. Each robot at Ecobot is somewhat kind of like a snowflake. You'll never see a robot that looks much like another robot at Ecobot. Everybody's robot looks completely different. So what happens here is these kids will build a base robot, and then they'll look at their challenges, and then they will modify their robot according to what they want their robot to do. So that's why kids are just given the freedom to create and build and be artistic with their robots based upon what their robot needs to do. There's a little warning there. Kids, I know it's cool to make the robot look cool, but use those parts wisely. Make sure that you're using the parts on the robot for something practical, where it's actually being used for something. Because I know sometimes it's easy to get carried away making your robot look all very pretty, but making a robot work is what this is all about, the engineering and the programming of the EV3 robot. So here you have the base robot that's ready to be modified. And it's going to be up to you guys to modify your robot and get it ready for your main event at the All Earth Ecobot Challenge. Thank you very much for taking the time to watch this video. Thank you to all of you volunteers for spending the time with us. Thank you, teachers, students, school districts, everybody, all school systems out there for being a part of the All Earth Ecobot Challenge. Again, my name is Robo Joe. If you ever need any assistance from me, visit the All Earth Ecobot Challenge website at ecobotchallenge.com and click on the help support line link that's on the homepage, and that can get to me, and you can ask me questions through there if you need to. And thank you again. Y'all have a nice day.
Thanks for watching. Woo! My friends, my brothers and sisters.